G'day everyone and a big welcome to the Big Swing No Ding podcast. It is Showtime Footy episode 2. Oh boy are we back, What on earth is going on in week 1 of finals? It is just beyond belief what is happening. I said last night for Brisbane Richmond that was game of the season. Well, guess what? That just got absolutely shat on its head by West Coast and Collingwood tonight. The Pies winning by a singular point. Listen, there's so much to say about and so much to point out at where, like, you could say the Eagles went wrong and where the Pies ran over them. But really, you just got to say that this. Well, I just got to start off by saying this could be like the best 8 seed. Like what in AFL history? Like, is there any chance? Is that a crazy thing to say? I don't know, because like this is a team that was in the grand final 2 years ago. They should have been a top 4, even top 2 team last year, but got riddled with injuries. Probably should have been a top 4 team this year as well, but got riddled with injuries, and they're still sort of like this again during they still got many injuries in come finals at the moment, but like, you know, they're getting back to where they are. They're playing more with that attacking game style that we've seen teams win games off this year, which is ultimately what it's what winning's team game. That's what Port have been doing all year. It's what Brisbane have been doing over the last 2 years. It's what's breaking the game open. It's what's changing the dynamic of footy in this often, like, you know, real close, clamped down times. And I haven't been doing it all season. But, you know, it looks like that they're sort of going in for Hail Mary. You know, it's a big all or nothing sort of thing. But yeah, boy, did they deliver. I didn't look at the odds because, like, why would you? That's a stupid thing to look at. But I would imagine that West Coast were heavily favoured to enormous extents. Coming into this game, I would have said, 2.7 or 1, whatever you want to say. No one really gave them a proper chance going into this game. But boy, they just ran over them. Although like West Coast, I think Collingwood led for the most part of the game, even though like it was pretty neck and neck. Yeah, I think Collingwood led for the most part of the game. It was like 25 minutes. Not 20. That doesn't make sense. How long is in a game? Is it 60 minutes? I don't know. It was. They had about 10 minutes more of lead time overall, but like you're sort of loitering around. Like Collingwood felt more in the game, and like with this home ground advantage, which has sort of really been shaping up the finals. You know, the Eagles kick a few goals early in the fourth. They kick a few goals late in the third, and you think, all right, here they go. This is where they're going to run over the top of them here. But then it's sort of like they just didn't. Collingwood, it was as resistant as I've seen them this year. They just did not back down at any point in the match. Very right commentary. Let's go. Like, I thought that the inclusion of Jeremy McGovern would really silence the Collingwood forward line. It wouldn't give them anywhere to go. But they played around it. And although McGovern had a really good game, he had a good game. Was it really good? I don't know. He played solidly. He did what you'd expect Jeremy McGovern to do. But they really just played around him. They created their own opportunities through the stoppages. They created their own attacks through coming off the middle. And that's what's really been the beneficiary through this final series has been through the forward line. And like we saw, Jordan De Goey has been not the forward line, like the attacking mids going into the forward line. And we saw De Goey kick the match-winning goal in the last few minutes. Man, how far can this Pies team go? Can they get past Geelong? I don't know. They're one of the. I think I said in my non-release pregame that I believe that every team, bar St Kilda, has it in them to go all the way. At their peak, Collingwood can win this flag. But obviously, they're in the finals for a reason. I guess it's the sort of silly thing to say, but we've seen how much of a powerhouse they can be. We've seen how attacking they can be. And we've seen how they can just turn games on their head. We can see they've turned season on their head. And they've well and truly done it tonight. West Coast were the Premiership favourites, halfway through this season? Or 3/4 of the way through this season, and especially when they started to get more games at Perth, it's been an absolute fortress up there. But Collingwood, best travelling team in the comp, perhaps. It'd be real interesting to see how they play against Geelong. I've only just the game literally wrapped up 15 minutes ago, so I'm not really analysing it to that extent at the moment. But I'm if as long as they can lock up I think they can get the better of Tom Hawkins. I think they can, but then they also got to worry about the other tools. I don't think they can necessarily counter that. The way they match up build wise. Sure, Darcy Moore is around that way, but you got guys like Mark Blitzarves and all that, who he has been playing predominantly defensive. But he's just such a utility for Geelong, so it'll be interesting to see how that game. But this game today was just crazy. What's the tips for the rest of the finals? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what will happen in the rest of this finals. I can't be certain, because even if so what, I think it's safe to say that Richmond will beat St Kilda. I think that's pretty safe to say, right? But then Geelong Collingwood, that's a legit blockbuster. It's a legit blockbuster. I can genuinely see that going either way. If we look at pretty much all this season, it's turns to Geelong, and I don't want to get caught up in the moment here. I would still probably tip the Cats, but boy, would it be something to see the Pies go on and take the Lions. I think for the Lions, they would rather play the Cats than they would play the Pies. No, that's silly. They'd rather play the Pies. That's very silly to say. But I think Collingwood actually match up better against the Lions than Geelong do. I think Collingwood sort of play the way Brisbane do, or they can adapt to it, but they're more clean in doing it. They're more touched up in the way that they attack the ball, and I think they're more likely to, if it comes down to a genuine shootout, or it comes down to a genuine goal fest, attack through the midfield sort of thing, I think Collingwood could win that game. Whereas if you go to someone like Geelong, they're very well built, they're very big bust and all that, and I think Brisbane can sort of stick to their guns around that whole game. So it's interesting to see there. And then on the other side of the draw, I think Richmond Port. I think Richmond will win that. I think Richmond will. But this is just assuming they get past St Kilda. This first week of finals has been absolutely ridiculous so far. What's to say that St Kilda don't just pop out of the bag? They looked absolutely incredible today. But it looks like they're going to be without Paddy Ryder. Although, even though Richmond don't really have the tool ruck, that really could have been their one, the one department that they could have really exploited for Richmond, but it doesn't really look like that's probably going to happen. I think it'll be a Brisbane-Richmond grand final again, and I think Richmond will probably still win. But, so much is yet to happen. I can't, give a definitive, sure, they're going to win. I think Richmond should win against St Kilda, should they? But you just don't know, because coming. I don't know. It's behind this footy. It is absolutely mental. First of all, we're 10 minutes into this at the moment. Tim Kelly, bro, what are you doing? Tim Kelly, sold the bag. He absolutely sold the bag. What was it? 20 seconds left going through the midfield. He handballed to, I can't remember who was running through, ran straight into a wall of black and white. He just wanted a quick disposal. He just wanted a quick, I don't know. Maybe I just, this isn't up to me. I'm the midfielder. This is what I do. I only do hands. I just want to disposal. It's not up to me. That is a terrible mentality to have going into finals, and I'm not sure that Tim Kelly is necessarily built for finals football. Yes, he's a proven ball winner. He's a proven, he's got adequate skills, but I'm not sure that he actually has that, come finals, because you need, like your Jordan De Goeys, you need your Dom Sheets, you need your Jeremy McGoverns, you need your Nick Nats, you need your Patrick Dangerfields, you need your Dustin Martins, and I don't think Tim Kelly is like that. I don't think Kelly is. You could almost say the same for Lachie Neale, but I think Neale, once he gets going and he runs in his lines, like if you've ever been to a Lions match, he's sort of, I've only been to one when I was up in Queensland, just while I was passing through, thought I'd catch a game at the Gabba, and like the way he runs in straight lines is very effective of the game. It's very momentous as well, whereas Tim Kelly is sort of like, he just gets in and under. He's not dissimilar to Tom Mitchell, but he's not the same player. Look, all in all, man, can Collingwood go the other way? That's the question that is on everyone's lips right now. How far can they go? Genuinely, if it came down to it, I think they could beat Brisbane. I think they can beat Brisbane. I think they can beat Geelong. I don't think they can beat Richmond. The way, they do, like, sure, they got a, Tim Kelly was being tagged by Greenwood. Greenwood did a pretty good job. But, like, and that's the thing about Tim Kelly, he doesn't necessarily have the ability to fight through that like a Neil does, or a Bontempelli does. Someone, like, that was nothing. Bontempelli was kind of trash today. Dan Hanbury, bro, he's played in more finals than the Saints have won in their history. He was crazy today. He might be Mr. October for the Saints if they are to somehow get within anywhere of the Tigers. I don't really have enough to say because I actually missed most of that. Missed most of that game, but boy was he everywhere for the most part. Hunter Clark also had a really good game. Bailey Smith, like, he had a lot of it, but his disposal efficiency wasn't really that good. And I think that's where it mostly went wrong for the Bulldogs this year. I've got another video planned for the Dogs in a few more days, which is off the top of my head, like, I haven't planned it necessarily. It should be pretty interesting. And it's about their future and their direction. But yeah, I think Collingwood can make it to the grand final. I think they can. Will they? Probably not. But they can. Especially if, like, Jeremy Howe was rumoured to be in the picture to approach the possibility of maybe playing this week, if he can play, like, if they can, I'm doubting that he would play this week, right? But if they can beat Geelong, you might as well chuck him in a prelim final. You might as well, honestly. Who'll go all the way this year? I think the Tigers will go all the way this year. But it's like, I can't say that with 100% certainty. I say that with like 15% certainty. Like, who the hell knows? Jeremy Howe, if he can come in, if he's anything like what he was, like, an ACL can really take your athleticism out of you, and Jeremy Howe relies heavily on that. So unless they genuinely think he is right and ready to go, if they genuinely think he's the right guy to counter someone like a McStay, someone like an Eric Hipwood, or, like, heaven forbid, like, he plays this week, if he's the guy to stop Tom Hawkins. Like, if Jeremy Howe is in this Collingwood side this week, I would take, like, and if he's, like, if he's somewhere near his, like, if he's at 70%, I would take the Pies. I would. But he probably won't play. That'll be just interesting to see what happens there. But, yeah, I'm really, really excited with how that goes. Yeah, shout out to Ethan Murdoch. Shout out to the Mr. Milky. Shout out to Velocity Racing League. Link in the description to their website as well. Proud partner of the Big Swing Nerding podcast. Sorry, I'm just reading through my live stream at the moment. I think that's about it. That's my immediate thoughts on the game. Brody Myercheck, man, he was low key. He's been looking like Jack Gunston in some games. He's pulling out the guns at the moment. He puts himself in the right spot at the right time. Okay, like occasionally. Sometimes he goes completely missing and he looks a bit lost. He is easy to take out of that game. But when you've got Mason Cox kicking 2 goals in the first quarter, and he's looking real dangerous, then you sort of have to throw like your big defenders onto him, like a Shepherd and a Hearn. First of all, West Coast defense, considering it like how good on paper they are, Shannon Hearn, Brad Shepherd, Jeremy McGovern, the lot. That's such a disappointing performance, man. Such a disappointing performance. Hearn, this could be like his last like really good year. I don't know where he goes now. They might have to go shopping for another defender. I don't really know who's on the market. Like Zach Williams has gone down to Carlton. Heck, they might just have to go to the draft. But there's not really that many key position players in the draft this year. I just don't know where they go. I don't know where the Eagles go from here because they could be somewhere near their best next year, but I look at their list and I don't think it's quite going to be the same. And I think Collingwood are in a good position to keep competing for a number of years, including this year. Great win, great win, great game of footy. It's just incredible. This has been probably the best week of finals first week of finals that I've seen in quite some time. I can't really think back to where maybe 2010 or 11 with the Saints and Geelong and all that stuff. That sort of sticks out. Anyway. All the games were exceptionally high quality. This is why it's so important to play the games up in Queensland, up in Western Australia, where there is high atmosphere, where there's crowds, and South Australia as well. I almost forgot about that. Just quickly, Damien Hardwick said that he wants to play the semi-final at Metricon. That's really weird. I don't know why. Isn't that just so that I would think that Richmond would be more looking towards the prelim final and not getting rest for the semi-final because that's going to be the same for St Kilda. Whereas if you play on the Adelaide Oval or you elect to go there, then you have to play the Port the week after. You have to do less quarantine. You get more familiar with the surface. It's just less travel. You feel more comfortable where you are. But that sort of is what it is. It's great having crowds back at the footy, man. It's turned the season. It's made it all worth it. I think this is all what we wanted to see. It's all been spectacular up to this point, and I think that'll just about do it for this episode of Showtime Footy. If you enjoyed, thank you very, very much for watching. That didn't make sense. Let's try that again. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like if you're on YouTube, subscribe on all your favourite podcasting platforms, give it a download or over there. Make sure you share it to a mate as well. Thank you all very much for listening or watching, and play it through.